This morning, as I stand here looking out of my kitchen window, my tea in hand, and I find myself thinking about a conversation that we don't often have or probably never had before. We might whisper about it, laugh about it, but rarely do we sit down and discuss it honestly. And that conversation is menopause. Now, before you turn me off and think this conversation will be about hot flashes, hormones, give it a minute because it's much more than that. I want to talk about something that we rarely talk about, the things that happen beneath all of those physical changes, the things that affect our minds, our relationships, our faith, and even the relationship we have with ourselves. You see, menopause is not simply the end of a monthly cycle. For many women, most of us, it is the beginning of a complete life transition. You know, in this season, things are changing rapidly. And because the onset of menopause, a lot of things change. And if we're honest, we can feel just confused and uncertain and even fearful. One day you feel like yourself, the next day you don't even recognize the woman staring back in the mirror. Oh, she looks the same. Maybe a little sweaty, but she looks the same. But something inside has shifted, and no one has given her a playbook. No one has set her down and said, now listen, there will come a season in your life when your body changes, your emotion changes, your sleep definitely changes, and your relationship with God can even change. It can deepen or run you away because of anger or confusion. And nobody tells us that it's more than hormones. Most people think hormones is the leading star in this play, but it's simply not. But hormones is the main factor. But it's more than that. It's about transition and transitioning in your life. It's about your identity and how you see yourself. And for years, many women have been known by their roles. You know, maybe you was a mother, wife, employee, or employer, led in the ministry of your church, the problem solver, and even the peacemaker. Then, slowly, things begin to shift. Those roles no longer fit who you are any longer. And now you're wondering, who am I now? Not who was I, but who am I am now. Because you know your relationship with yourself is changing. Let's start right there. You have spent 40, 50, 60 years taking care of everyone. You know, making sure everyone's needs are met. It can be in your job, it can be in your household or your community. And you didn't spend time thinking about you or the future you. You didn't spend time thinking what will bring me joy. You didn't even ask yourself, am I really following my dreams? And if I am I on track? No, you were too busy taking care of other things that seemed urgent care at that time. And there you were. Because you spent so many time and so much years pouring from your cup without checking. Now it may be empty. Okay? We're not going to regret the things that we did in the past for others because we did it out of love and care, or even a commitment we felt that we had to give. So we're not going to spend this season in regret, but we want to do some adjusting. We may have to reintroduce ourselves to this woman that we may have neglected. We may have to rediscover that she is wonderful, that she is wiser than she used to be, because life and situations and circumstances have made her wiser. And definitely she is stronger than she realized. She's very creative, more courageous. Maybe we have to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. And even in this thing that we're talking about, menopause, let's look at some relationships that change. Because in this season, they do change. Because we change. We can no longer really tolerate foolishness or nonsense. Can I get an amen from that? Okay. Time out for all that drama. That time has expired and moved on, and we're moving on with it. You may no longer argue over things that doesn't even matter. At one time it did, but now you realize it's not that important. You no longer go to events just to say I showed up, to be seen or heard. You become comfortable with your own company, and you're beginning to protect your peace. Okay? I'm not talking about the foolish stuff they got out here when they cut off everybody and turn their back on family and friends in the name of protecting their peace. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the inner peace, the peace that comes with acceptance. Okay? And sometimes even that peace can surprise people around you because they're not used to you. They're not used to this version of you. The woman who's to rescue everyone begins setting boundaries. And remember, boundaries are just doors to show people how to enter into your life. This woman who used to say, I am not your person to be ignored. She commands respect and to be acknowledged in this season. Okay? But then you also have the time when you're being silent and quiet and just watching things unfold as they should, not jumping in, not trying to rescue, just sitting back and watching things unfold. And that's all right. It doesn't mean you do not care. It just means you're going to use your energy and your time for something else. And you know something? Growth will reveal who is committed to you and who is only committed to your availability to them. Let me say that again. Your growth will reveal who loves you or who simply loves having access to you. And what about if you're in a relationship? Okay, menopause can affect that too. Not because love disappears, but because things have changed and communication is important. You may feel exhausted, a little tired, or don't have interest in the things you used to do. That will affect your relationships. You may feel emotionally sensitive, frustrated, even confused, and your partner may not understand what is happening and take it personally. So I would tell you to be sensitive to that too and consider the relationship and consider that they don't understand what's going on either. You cannot expect people to understand what you cannot even explain yourself. And if you're listening to your body, you see it's changing. So learn how to communicate effectively, not screaming, not slamming doors, not giving the silent treatment, not holding anger that will soon turn into resentment. Learn how to communicate. Do it gently, okay? And you need support. And that's why you need how learn how to communicate it. To be able to say, I need support. I'm going through something. If you want to be detailed and explain, take the time to do that. And you know what? Now let's talk a little bit about the body. Because one night I woke up and I was sure the house was on fire. It was like I was in an inferno. But you know what? It wasn't coming from in the house, it was coming from inside of me. I was throwing off blankets, letting up windows, and calling on Jesus, okay? Only to discover it was a hot flash. Mm. Now listen, when your own body becomes a portable heating system, there is a level of surprise nobody has prepared you for. I thought somebody had secretly moved me into a furnace while I was asleep. I didn't know what was going on. I heard about it, but until it happens to you and you're standing in front of your freezer door trying to cool your body down, you'll understand and you'll get it. And what about the emotional side? Mm, Sometimes you can experience grief during this season. I'm not talking about the grief, the loss of a loved one. I'm talking about the grief of your life changing. And that's something to grieve. That's something to be sad about because you may enjoy your life, but that's not the life you're living now. You may be grieving over your aging, grieving over unfulfilled dreams, lost opportunities, or missed opportunities. Your physical changes. Maybe all your children are gone, living their lives. Those things you do have to take a time. There's no shame. There's no embarrassment. You should grieve a life well lived, but look forward to a life that you're entering now. And remember, grief is not weakness. It is acknowledgement. It is honoring the woman you were, but welcoming the woman you're becoming. And another important thing when we talk about menopause, let's talk about God. Because I believe menopause can become a sacred season in your life. A season where God gently whispers, hey, I know it's a little quiet, but that's all right. For years, you've been busy serving everyone, raising families, working jobs, creating businesses, taking care of community. You've been busy. And now God is telling you, during this pause, let's invite something else into your life. Let's invite something deeper. A time to reflect, a time to heal, a time to acknowledge what you're becoming and why you're becoming. And remember, God is there all the time. He's there, He's prompting you, He's holding you, He's guiding you, and He's even comforting you in the time of your tears, in the time of your confusion, even in the time of your anger. Because sometime in the season we can look back and have regrets that can overwhelm us and make us want to say, I wasted my life, I wasted my time, I wasted my opportunity, but God will be there for you. He's there. It may not come in a loud voice, it may come gentle. Because remember, this season, it requires you to get still and listen. And let's talk about taking care of our body. You know, I know it can feel like your body is in an all out warfare against you. But let's talk about some things we can do. What about walking? No, I didn't say You have to walk a marathon. Just going around the block first, and then maybe doing some trails later. Walking if you, I'm in Michigan, we have amazing riverfront. And what about walking the riverfront? What about swimming? Oh, my favorite is gardening. And ladies, what about strength training? Don't forget to drink your water, eating vegetables, and choosing rest when you're tired. No guilt, no shame, just rest. The rest that brings restoration. Click off all of those TV, internet, turn it off, and just rest. And stop punishing yourself for changing. Yes, you're changing. Your body has carried you through decades, and treat it like a friend. We don't get angry at our friends because they change. We try to adjust and accept the change in their life. So do that with your body. It's not your enemy. And remember, this season in which you're entering is going to bring some beauty that you never imagined. The beauty of it all is that you made it through some things you thought you wouldn't. You are beyond a survivor. You are beyond a conqueror. You are beautiful within yourself. And remember, we're not just looking on the outside. We're not looking at cosmetics of our life. We're looking at the beauty of our survival, the beauty of our creativity, the beauty of our inner strength, the beauty of our own style. Okay? And I want to just give you this little short affirmation for this season. Repeat after me, okay? I'm not losing myself. I am discovering myself. I'm honoring my body and all that it has done for me, and I value it. I release the pressure to be who I was, and I embrace who I'm becoming because I am wonderful and I deserve it. I deserve peace, I deserve joy, and I deserve care. God is guiding me in this season, and it is amazing. I welcome it, and I'm growing, and I'm blooming, and I'm becoming. I am becoming the woman who I dreamed of. And maybe menopause isn't closing a door. Maybe it's a doorway into your wisdom, a doorway into your authenticity, a doorway into your freedom, and a doorway into the most honest relationship you ever had with yourself. And perhaps that's why this season feels so uncomfortable because growth usually is, okay? It is. But on the other side, it is a woman who no longer needs permission to be anything but herself, a woman who knows her value, a woman who protects her peace, a woman who understands that her age is not a limitation, it is her testimony. So today, as we're looking out our kitchen window, I want you to ask yourself, what is this season trying to teach me about myself? Then I want you to take a breath, relax, and remember this is you, and you're doing it good, and you're doing it great, and you're doing it authentic. So next time, as we look out the window, because we're looking within, remember there is wisdom in this season, and there is beauty in this season, and it's all for you. This is V. I'll see you next time as we look out the kitchen window.